Hey YouTubers, it's Rad Fox here, and in today's video I'm going to show you a little bit of work that I had to do on the coil pack bolts. I had a problem with them. I've been doing a lot of experimenting with the spark plug gap and the heat range, and I still even have more to do. But basically what I found out was that the coil pack bolts on my Golf R are basically deformed. You can tell how they were pressed together and they're not truly round. And so the first time I even took off the coil pack bolts, I felt binding on the bolts, even loosening them. They would bind and then get loose, bind, loose. And so I knew that I was in for some trouble on those guys. But they held up pretty long. I didn't have one strip out till about the 20th time I had removed it and put it back in. And so I'll show you what I do here in this video to compensate for that and how I fixed that. But basically I did put in 2 Heli-Coils, and then I ran a die set on the factory bolts over and over and over again with power drill. So I'll show you that in here. And so the reason why I'm playing with the spark plug so much is that I do have a tuning issue with the APR tune on the Golf R. I had the same issue on the GTI, and so I've always assumed it was something with the APR tunes, and I worked with them for months and months, and I still don't have anything resolved. But what I found was that with a specific experimenting with the specific gap sizes, that I can overcome most of this throttle response issue that I've discovered. So anyways, I'll go over all that in another video, but in this video here I just wanted to show you again the work that I had to do on these bolts, and in case any of you guys run into the same problem. And just to also just let you know, just be careful, just take your time with those bolts, and you may end up having to do the same thing that I did here. Alright, so enjoy the video. Alright, so here's one of the coil pack bolts, and I just wanted to show you here real quick, hopefully you can see this, that that this is a 1mm pitch 6mm bolt. Hopefully you can see that this says 1.0 on it, and that this is definitely a you can see how well this fits. This is definitely a 1mm pitch. And if you try like a 1.25 or something like that, hopefully you can see here that this is never going to line up. It doesn't bite in there, that this 1mm locks in perfect all the way down. To illustrate this issue here that I've discovered with these bolts is, here is a die. It's a 6mm by 1.0, like we just discovered. This was that the stock bolts are 6mm and that they're have a pitch of 1.00. And so I went out and just bought a 6mm by 1.0 pitch bolt so I could illustrate this. This is just right off the shelf, right from a parts store. And so I'm going to take it in here and put it into this die, and I'm going to start turning with my fingers. And you can see that this is very easy to thread into here, and that this is actually locking in here pretty well. And do you see how easy this is to turn? See how I'm doing this with my hands? Okay, so this is what a 6mm 1.0 bolt is supposed to do. A properly threaded bolt, properly formed bolt, and how it's supposed to easily turn into this die. Now here is the factory bolt, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'll even let you know that I have already ran this bolt through this die at least once. And so now here we go. Now I'm going to start it off, and you can see I got a couple little quarter turns, and you can see I'm binding. I can't turn this damn thing. You can see we haven't even made it out the other end yet, and now I'm stuck. So I was just turning the nut there, but now here I'm turning it, so it's binding, it's loose a little bit, it binds, it's loose, it's binding. And so this, now I'm stuck right here. This is actually really, really tight right here. And so this is what I'm trying to illustrate here. These bolts aren't formed right. There's something wrong with these damn bolts. And so I'm just going to use this here to to be able to grab the bolt or this nut better, and so I can rotate this. But I'm actually having to use quite a bit of force to get it to rotate. This is absolutely ridiculous. So this is telling me that this bolt isn't formed correctly. Now this is true of all 4 of the bolts that are holding the coil packs down. And so when I first took off the coil packs to get to the spark plugs, the first change when I was taking out one of these bolts, I could feel this problem right away. And I figured, well, you know, it'll probably be okay. I'm not going to be changing the spark plugs that much. You know, every time you tighten it down and it's binding like that, it's going to start deforming the aluminum inside the top of the intake manifold. And eventually, over time, it's going to destroy those threads. And so, if I had just changed the spark plugs just a couple times, that probably wouldn't have been an issue. But I've been experimenting with the gap and with the heat range. And so I've changed the spark plugs in the gaps about 22 times so far. And now I'm at the point where I have 2 of these bolts where they're almost completely stripped out. And so I need to make sure that this top nut here makes really good electrical connection with the ground for the coil packs, and that this bolt is actually grounded very well into the intake for those coil packs to make good spark. So that is why I have decided to drill out those 2 holes that are loose and replace them with a Heli-Coil. And so you can see I can't even turn this damn thing. I can't turn this die back off here. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I've done this multiple times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a screw gun or power drill, and I'm going to take each of these 4 bolts, these factory bolts here, and I'm going to run them in and out of this die with a power tool and squirt some oil in here while I'm doing that, and see if I can loosen these up and straighten these threads up. And so yeah, let me show you one more thing. Let's take this off here, and then hopefully you can see where this is biting, so you can see that the actual shaft of this bolt is actually deformed. It's not truly round. Okay, so look at this here. You see this? You can see that this portion here is very shiny, and then no shine, and then shiny, no shine, shiny. So this is obviously not truly round, and this is what we're having a problem with here. This is what I've seen. So I mean, maybe these are just a bad set of bolts, but since all 4 of these bolts do this, I suspect that this whole manufacturing run of these guys have the same issue. So be careful when you're taking these in and out. Hopefully you won't have to play around through spark plug gaps, or won't be interested in doing that. So I mean, you can probably get away with this, I don't know, 10 times probably, and it's probably not going to strip anything out. But again, like I said, I got up around the 20th time, and then finally it bit me. I couldn't hold against those threads in the intake anymore. Okay, so here's one of the options for doing a thread repair, and this is a Heli-Coil kit that I picked up from Napa for about $50. So these aren't very cheap, but really the most expensive part here is the tap for the coil and this insertion tool for the coil. So otherwise, I think you can pick these up. These are individual coils fairly cheap. And so the thing to note here again is that this is an M6 metric 6 by 1.00 is what this is. And then of course it says here that you have to use a 1/4 inch drill bit for the tap. This is my 1/4 inch drill bit, and this is the tap that comes with the kit. And so let's see if we can get this in here good. What I wanted to show you is that, you know, how you tell if if a thread size is correct or a drill size is correct is, I mean, you can look here and see that when I hold the drill bit up against the bolt here, you can see the threads on the tap, and so you can tell that the threads stick out past or a little bit larger than the actual drill itself. So that's exactly what we want. And then another way to check it is to bring it to the front and do the same thing, and then make sure that, there you go, whoa, right in there, that you can't see the drill from this side when you hold it just right, and that when you bring the drill to the front, that you can see the threads behind it. Let's see, where is it at? Right. Oh god, this is hard to tell where the focus is at. I think it's right there. That you can see the threads behind the drill. So I'm going to use this drill, 1/4 inch, and again here's the tap that came with the kit. Okay, so here's the coil and ground wire bolt and nut, and you know, you can see here that this little nut has to tighten down against this head that's on this bolt here, and there's not much room for a wrench in here. You've got to make sure you have a really thin open-end wrench to get into here. And so I went and found a really cheap little wrench here at Napa, 10mm. You can see here that it's pretty thin, and so even with this one here, it looks like it actually can get a little bit under the nut and actually get in here to tighten this up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit this surface, hit probably maybe both surfaces, maybe just one surface, hit one of these surfaces here with the grinder to make this thinner, so I can get this up underneath here, and then this will be like a dedicated tool, you know, for whenever I need to change out the spark plugs. Do it. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this in here. Let's take a look here. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so this is really nice and thin now, so now we can easily hold this bolt from turning when we're tightening down the ground nut. Alright, so I've already removed the coil packs from the top of the engine here, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put some tape. The spark plugs are still in the holes here. I'm going to put some tape over the holes just so I don't drop anything down in here, any metal or anything. Okay, so those are taped off. Alright, so you can see that. They are taped off, and I'm going to go ahead and drill out this guy here and this one here with a 1/4 inch bit. Okay, so we're pretty much set up here. Again, you saw I put the tape in there. I want to put a little WD-40 in that hole. This is the 1/4 inch drill, and let's see if we can do this. Wow. Okay, don't roll it out at all. Damn it. I think, looking at that, it's a lot of material we just removed. Alright, so you can see that we removed quite a bit of material out of here. Okay, so just look in here real quick. Hopefully you can see in there. Damn it, focus, you junk. Hopefully you can see that there are still more threads down in there. So it looks like we can go a little bit more here. Okay. I think again that we're down in here. So let's try this other one real quick. Okay, yeah, so I mean, I think we're about at least 5/8 in on those threads. Again, clean this a little bit, get it wet in there with the WD-40. And then we need to set up this tap. So, for this tap, because I need the clearance in here, I can't use the standard tool here to drive or to turn the tap in. So I am going to use a 5/16 inch deep well socket and a 1/4 by 3/8 adapter. I'm just going to use my 3/8 ratchet. Okay. Okay. So it looks like that's going in. I started that pretty well. going here. Let's see. Now I gotta be very careful here. That's the thing. You don't want to keep wobbling this damn thing. So. Okay, careful, careful, careful. We're trying to be very careful here not to wobble this. Uh-oh, what was that? Oh shit, the 5/16 is popping on here. Oh crap. So the 5/16 is biting, but it's actually not exactly the right size. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and back this out a little. And then we're gonna come back down. And again, I'm gonna loosen that up a little bit. And I'm gonna spray some more WD-40 in there. Oops. Okay. Let's go again. Now we're gonna go back deeper again. Okay, here we're biting right there. Oh shit. Okay. You know, we need a different damn extension. It's not really 5/16. Alright, now we're with 5/32, so let's see what this does. Okay, right there. This is about as good as it's gonna get. Damn thing in the way. Okay, so how far down are we on this thing? We are. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna back this all the way out. Okay. Not loose enough to get it out by hand. There we go. Okay, taking it out by hand. Okay. Definitely can go more. I think I'm going to go a little bit more. And so first thing I'm going to do here is just clean off this metal shavings off of this tap real quick with some WD-40. And then we're going to put it back in the hole here very carefully. And give you a little bit more of a close-up view here. Okay. Now I'm going to, and this is still really, you know, loose here, tightening it up. I think I've got about a little bit less than a half of an inch of thread in there, and I want just a little bit more. I think about 5/8 is going to be plenty. Okay, so here I'm biting again. It's tight. Okay. Okay, so I think that that's good right there. And I'm going to go ahead and take it back out. Very carefully here. Trying not to jerk the ratchet around. Alright. I can't get that out yet by hand. Plus I got WD-40 on my damn fingers now. But here we go. Okay. So I can see the mark where it was at. And to me, that's pretty good. So we're like, we have about, oh shit, you can't see it. So we've got about this much thread down in there. And I think that's going to be okay. Okay, so you can see the marks on this tap. All right, you can see the discoloration in here. It's saying right there. You can see the discoloration that we're threading up into here. And then here's the actual Heli-Coil. And so I think we have plenty. This is actually going to go on the bottom. And I think we have plenty to work with here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get this ground wire unplugged first off. This keeps bumping me. To get this tap started in this hole. And so you got to try to be nice and straight here. And I'm not. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, so I think that's pretty damn straight right there. Let's do this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, trying to keep it nice and square. It has a, I can tell the amount of force I'm applying is pretty even. You don't want the force to be jerky. Okay. This is going perfect. I can tell there's a little bit more force here. It's like getting a little bit harder to turn. I think that we're near the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out now here. Oh, I know it goes. Okay. Oh, get out of here. Alright, that looks decent. Yeah, decent. How's that one look? Yeah, that one's not. That's way deeper. Let's go deeper. All right, let's go back in again. I mean, it's worth taking your time on this. You don't want to fuck this up. Otherwise, you'll be replacing this top plate here. Or unless you know somebody that can weld to this and weld a nut on here or something. But either way, it's going to be a pain in the ass and you don't want to have to deal with that shit. So hopefully, actually, when these helicoils are installed, this will actually be stronger because there's actually larger threads holding it in. Okay, so here we are bottomed out here. We're at where we were before. Now we're going to start cutting new threads right here at this point. Okay. I think that's pretty damn good right there. Stop there. Alright. And take it back out carefully. Yeah, and it's just sad that, I mean, if I wouldn't have been changing these plugs so damn much, obviously, 22 times, what are the likelihood that somebody's going to change their plugs 22 times? So, I mean, it'd probably been fine for most of you. Whoops. But I wanted to show you that this could actually happen because of these bolts being deformed. Okay, so now, let me whip this up too. Just clean off this tap. Alright, one of our next issues here though is how am I going to clean all this crap out? And I'm thinking I might just try using the shop vac on this first. Okay, so first off, I just want to show you this here. This is something I got for my car to help me clean between the seats and whatnot. This actually is still even a little too big in most cases, but it's a flexible end with a very, very, very narrow slot on here, vacuum port, whatever. And then I found an adapter to go to the standard, whatever this is, 2.5 inch, whatever, shop vac. And so this is something I use, like I said, inside the car typically to get down between the seat rails and underneath the seats and all that. So I'm going to use that here. So actually that did very, very well. And it got most of the big stuff out here. I still see some back down, way down in here. Alright, I've got these little Q-tips right here. What I'm going to do is just use this to actually just sort of get down in here. Just right through here a little bit. That is close enough. And actually, I'm going to take this tape out of here. Ugh. Tape out of there. And just get some of this WD-40 shit off of here. Okay, fresh piece of tape over this one here, just for the time being. And over this one here. And now it's time to actually install the actual helicoil. And so, if you look at this helicoil, there's a little tab on this side here, and that's what you use to catch with this tool to actually turn the, you're going to rotate it into the new threaded hole there, and then eventually you can see there's a little score. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little score right here, and so you're supposed to smack this with a dowel from the top side, and then knock that off, and then you're set. So this is the tool, and I've got this inserted in here, but basically what you need to do is thread this into the helicoil all the way down until it binds on this little tab right here. Okay, so now that's ready to go. It keeps it square. Okay, so it's starting to go here. Oh shit, it's a pain in the ass. Alright, so how the hell do I do that? Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this to keep turning in here. Now again, I'm trying to keep this all square, but I mean, this coil should line up with those new threads, and once it starts threading in it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Now I'm actually keeping a little bit of downward pressure on this tool here at least I needed to in the beginning to help get the coil started in the hole. And you can see here that it's going in nicely. Yeah, okay, you can see right there, right? Okay, you can see there's just a little bit of the coil sticking out. And I'm going to keep turning it. And keep turning it. And keep turning it. And I'm going to drive it down, I guess, I don't know, it looks like at least one whole thread down inside. I mean, this has a pretty good bite on it. You know, judging by the marks that were on here, it looks like it goes in pretty far. Maybe, probably less than, oh shoot, you can't even see, a little bit less than 3/4 of an inch on this factory bolt here. So, I'm going to just go a little bit deeper, just a little bit more. Okay, so I should be about maybe one thread past, 1.5 threads past, so let's unscrew this out of here and let's take a look. Alright, look at that. Damn. It looks beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me give you a view. There you go, right there. Okay, so you can see, you can actually see the little tab sticking down in there too. That's what we have to break off. But you can see that those threads look beautiful now, right? With the Heli-Coil. So we've got to still do that over here on this side. And if it will focus right there on this one, put the Heli-Coil in there, and then we've got to break these little tabs off that are inside of here. So here's a punch, and it's a 3/16 inch punch, and I just wanted to show you that this will easily fit down inside in here and be able to knock out that that pin or that tab right there and break right there on the score line. So we'll do that here in a second, but let me go ahead and put this one in for the rightmost plug there. So we're going to get this Heli-Coil back on here, thread it onto this installing tool. So I'm going to thread that in. I'm locked on the little bent portion of the Heli-Coil here, and we're going to put it back in this little tool here so we can keep pressure on the coil so it doesn't deform when we're first installing it. And it's always tricky. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh shit, did that just break? Oh, did I deform it? I hope not. Don't deform it, okay, mister? Oh, what the hell? Okay, this is being a jerk. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a different Heli-Coil on here right to begin with. Yeah, it's just a pain to get it started. That's the trickiest part. And I don't like the way that we're starting. So let's try again. Hopefully you can see around me here. See, that starts pretty good. Doesn't seem like there's any major issues right there. What the hell? I don't know. Oh shit. Okay, right there. It's just such a pain in the ass to start this thing, I swear. Okay. That looks pretty damn close, right? Close it is. Come on, get in there, let's go. Okay, I think this is actually going in fairly straight. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry I'm in the way here. This one was being a big turkey, so I'm really having to make sure I'm supporting it here with this sleeve. Okay, so I'm about all the way down here. Alright, you can see right here. Okay, and hopefully you can see that there's just a little bit of the thread, of the Heli-Coil sticking out. So I'm gonna again sink it down in, probably at least one whole thread down in. Good. I'm gonna take the insertion tool out. Okay, so I've got the 3/16 inch punch in here, and then boom, that's all it takes. Very simple. You can see number 2, same thing. Pop it, gone. It's done. So that's done. I'm gonna pull these other pieces of tape off of here. Alright, so let's put the coil packs back in. Plugs are down in there. Now, the moment of truth. Try the Heli-Coil one first. Okay, so far, hopefully you can see me here. Oh, it looks pretty damn good. Feels great. Okay, look at that. Oh, felt beautiful. First time ever that I've ever been able to turn one of those in all the way by hand. Okay, this one here, it's bouncing on the coil pack here a little bit. Oh, come on, damn it. I have to keep wiggling the coil pack to there we go. Get this guy in here. Okay. Wow. Okay, pretty decent. Now these ones were always okay
from the factory here, I think. So I'm gonna still go ahead and just put the extension on here. You do it by hand though. All right, you can see that snugs down, feels good, was easy to turn all the way through. And this one has a little bit of binding, but it bottomed out nice and sturdy. Okay, now here's one against the new Heli-Coil, and that now is sturdy, and this one's sturdy. Nice. Okay, so what I want to do is just crack these a little bit more. Crack these a little bit tight. Okay, so there's a little bit of a turn there, about a quarter, not even a quarter. Okay, hold that nut, hold that bolt, and then we will go ahead and put the ground on. So slip the ground on here. So you can see I've got the new flattened open end wrench here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put the nut on here, and we can go ahead and do this actually on all these. Right, this harness always sort of is in the way here on this one, but it's not that big a deal. Right, but now I feel a lot better about this. Now I feel like hopefully electrically that this is a much better connection with a lot more force into these connections. So hopefully this doesn't introduce any new problems. And now I've got all four of those on. Okay, so I'm going to hold the bolt, tighten the nut against it. Right? Hold the bolt, tighten the nut. So now I know I've got a really good connection, at least to this bolt, with this nut, with this ground wire. Okay, and there we go. You'll hear them click like that when they're on, and that is it. Put the cover back on, and we are done.